Think of your heart as the ultimate non-stop pump, about the size of your clenched fist. It beats roughly 100,000 times a day to keep you alive. Textbooks often make its anatomy look like a confusing maze of pipes, but today I'm going to break it down simply, or at least attempt to. The first rule of heart anatomy: always look at the heart from the patient's perspective. That means this is the right side, and this is the left side. The heart is divided right down the middle by a thick muscular wall called the septum, preventing oxygen-rich and oxygen-poor blood from mixing. The heart has 4 hollow rooms, or chambers, I guess. The top 2 are called the atria, or atrium if you're trying to address it singularly. They act as receiving rooms for blood entering the heart. Because they just receive blood, their walls are relatively thin. The bottom 2 chambers are called the ventricles. These are the heavy lifters, the actual pumps that push blood out of the heart. Notice how the left ventricle has a much thicker muscular wall than the right? That's because the right ventricle only pumps blood next door to the lungs, while the left ventricle has to pump blood all the way down to your toes. Let's follow a drop of blood. When your body uses up oxygen, the deoxygenated blue blood returns to the heart through 2 massive veins, the superior vena cava from the upper body and the inferior vena cava from the lower body. They dump this blood straight into the right atrium. The right atrium contracts, pushing the blood down through a one-way door called the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle. Next, the right ventricle squeezes, shooting the blood through the pulmonary valve into the pulmonary artery. Here's a quick memory trick. A is for artery, means blood goes away from the heart, or away from the heart. That's how I like to remember it. This artery takes the blood to the lungs to drop off carbon dioxide and pick up fresh oxygen. Once the blood is freshly loaded with oxygen, it turns bright red. It travels back to the heart via the pulmonary veins and enters the left atrium. The left atrium squeezes the red blood through the mitral valve, also called the bicuspid valve, to the powerful left ventricle. Now finally, the left ventricle delivers the grand finale. It contracts powerfully, launching the blood through the aortic valve into the aorta, the largest artery in your body, the mother of all arteries. From the aorta, oxygen-rich blood branches out to fuel your brain. From the aorta, oxygen-rich blood branches out to fuel your brain, muscles, and organs. Did you notice the 4 doors I mentioned? The tricuspid, pulmonary, mitral, and aortic valves. Their only job is to prevent backflow. They make sure blood only moves forward. When you hear your heartbeat, that lup-lup, lup-lup sound, you're actually hearing these valves slamming shut. Lub is the closing of the tricuspid and mitral valves. Dub is the closing of the pulmonary and aortic valves. That's what makes your heart sound like it's beating. It's actually the valves closing and shutting. So, to recap the loop of the blood flow, essentially it starts with the whole body. Blood from all of the body, they converge into one singular big vein called the vena cava, which enters the right atrium, which gets pumped to the right ventricle, which pumps to the lungs, which gets pumped again to the left atrium, and then it goes to the left ventricle, which pumps the blood to the aorta, and the blood gets spread out back to the entire body. that's how I try to remember things. And if you try to master this simple sequence, you've basically mastered the anatomy of the heart. It's not that hard, actually. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope this helps with your studies.